Good morning, beloveds. I got distracted by cats. We were back in the house by 8:30 because it was really hot in the park. And the blue jays came to play. Not so much the squirrels, but the blue jays definitely were out to play today. So we came back, and then I sat down. I made the mistake of sitting down on the couch, and one of the cats came and sat in my lap and started purring. And the other cat got up on the computer because I hadn't opened it and was sitting there, and so I was scratching him, and then suddenly it's 9:30. Oops. All right. So we are doing living the science of mind. I had skipped 2 essays because they were slightly longer and saved them for this weekend to do the shorter one. So now we're going to go back and catch that. But apparently I need some oxygen. Hang on. All right. So let's do the housekeeping really fast, which is just me reminding you that we are Creative Life Spiritual Center. The website is creativelife.org. The constant contact email, info@creativelife.org. If you will email that, that gets you on the constant contact. You get 1 email a week, tells you what's going on for the week and the month. Well, mostly 1 email a week. We do live in hurricane country. And like the sky just opened up and poured for 3 minutes, like heavy downpour for 3 minutes. And there was a roll of thunder, and now it stopped. So welcome to where we live. Okay. So, the email, the hot links are hot, and it is a blind CC. That means nobody will get your email or see your email. If you want anybody else's email list because of us. So please feel free to subscribe to that list. Last thing is the social medias. We do not monetize the social medias. We don't want to deal with the ads any more than you want to deal with the ads. So what we ask you to do instead is to engage with our pages. Go like, follow, and subscribe to the pages. And then with the individual posts, if you will like, share, and comment on those, bumps us in the algorithms. And we think we have good tools to share, so we hope you agree with us and will help us out by doing that. And we are Creative Life Spiritual Center or Creative Life Spark. Because like on Instagram, Blue Sky, and TikTok, I believe we're Blue Sky. All right, sorry, not Blue Sky. Threads. We haven't gotten a Blue Sky yet. We're still thinking about it. I think that was it. Social medias. And I am the running Rev Ryan on the social medias that I'm on. So if you would give me that I would appreciate that. All right. So that is everything. So let's get on with the book. Now, you've heard me talk about my pet theory. I believe that people kept coming up to Ernest with questions from the Science of Mind decks. And so these are the answers, which ended up being an at-home course. It was at the back of the Science of Mind magazine. You could mail off for it, and they would mail you a lesson for 48 weeks, which is really cool. So that's where almost all but, I think they said in the intro, all but 2 of the essays are from that take-home course, which you can still get. They actually bound it up into books, and I keep meaning to put a link for that on it. You can go to the Science of Mind archives and look, and I think they may have an Amazon link. So, all right. So today we are doing the sequence of the creative order. The sequence of the creative order. By the law and the word, we mean the operation of our spontaneous word, consciously and volitionally spoken, and the reaction of a mechanical and mathematical, but intelligent and creative force, which is the medium through which the law of mind in action operates. The principles of science of mind are exact and mathematical, while the use of it is personal. And that's very, very, very important. Ernest fully believes that we are dealing with something that is, for lack of a better word, predictable. That if we do this, it's going to do that. So the law but the law does not judge. So if you ask for something dumb, the law's not going to say you don't really want that. The law's going to present it to you. So that's why, that old adage of be careful what you ask for, there's a reason for that. Okay. While the use of it is personal, you get to ask for whatever you want. But for you to get it, it's got to be in alignment with the law. So there's that. Okay. Our Bible starts with this initial statement: in the beginning, God. In the beginning of all creation, there was nothing but pure absolute intelligence. The Bible then refers to the Spirit moving upon the face of the deep, which means the absolute intelligence thinking within itself. This is but another way of saying that the starting point of every creation is the Word of God, or the word of a universal intelligence. The Word moves upon the face of the deep, or in our language, it moves upon the subjective law of mind, which receives the impress of our thoughts, while always tending to bring this thought into manifestation. I like how he says always tending to. Doesn't mean it always does, but tending to. We can do a lot to get in our own way. As the starting point of creation, this is what is meant by the sequence of the creative order, or an absolute intelligence thinking, or the movement of mind or spirit within itself, knowing something, realizing something, affirming something. Next, we have the face of the deep, or the waters of the Spirit, or the creative law set in motion by the Word. Yeah, I always wondered when they said the face of the deep, what the heck does that mean? Well, Ernest has got an answer. That's nice. Okay. We have the law automatically producing the situation, the condition, or the creation implied in the word. Therefore, the sequence of creative order, or the way the law and the word work, is, first of all, absolute intelligence, next, its word or thought. Following this, the law is set in motion, for the word is the law of mind in action. Then, at the end of the sequence, is the creation or the formation of the word in definite, specific circumstances, situations, or creations, which are logical, inevitable, mathematical, and mechanical reactions of the law to the creative word. Now, the mechanical reactions is kind of important, because remember when I said the law doesn't judge? It doesn't. Once you put it into motion, unless something interrupts it, it's going to happen. And so, you got to be aware of what you are asking for. All right, let's move on. I think he's going to make me work for this one. Okay. Our Bible and the original spiritual systems from which all religions have sprung assume that there is such an infinite intelligence. It does create through its word or by its meditation, that there is a law which reacts to it, producing the object of its desire. In this way, the original spirit comes into fruition, or the realization of itself in and through what it does. Thus, it has been said that creation is the meditation of God. I have never heard that before. That's a really good line. Thus, it has been said that creation is the meditation of God. I think that's a really... One of the things that I really like about Ernest is he has these beautiful turns of phrases, and that is one of them. All right. For he spake, and it was done. Or, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. All things were made by him, and without him was not anything made that was made. And the Word was made flesh and dwelt among us. Woof. The centurion came to Jesus and said, Speak the word only, and my servant shall be healed. And in Psalm 107:20, he sent his word and healed them. You will also remember that Moses said, But the word is very nigh unto thee, in thy mouth and in thy heart, and that thou mayest do it. Isaiah said, So shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth. It shall not return unto me void, but it shall accomplish that which I please, and it shall prosper in the thing whereunto I sent it. Throughout our Bible and all the sacred books, we find this same idea that the word acting as law produces a definite result. But right here, we must remember that the word is not something that speaks itself. There is an intelligence that speaks the word. Therefore, the initial movement of the creative sequence is absolute intelligence speaking a word, which also becomes absolute because it sets an absolute law in motion for the purpose of producing a definite result. Okay, Ernest, you're talking in circles, love. Let's go. Okay. Next, we must remember that all these sacred writings refer to God as the macrocosm, the universe, and people as the microcosm, the individual. And they all teach that what Jesus taught when he said, "For as the Father raiseth up the dead and quickeneth them, even so the Son quickeneth whom he will. For as the Father hath life in himself, so hath he given to the Son to have life in himself." Whew. Intelligence compels us to recognize that there must be one self-existent, self-propelling, self-perpetuating, self-energizing, and self-expressing spirit. This, and this alone, could be the origin of creation. I can see why this is not one of the class articles. It's like, oh, no class wants to discuss this one. But, all right. But the Bible states, as other sacred writings do, that people reproduce this creative order on a miniature scale. Jesus said, "The Son can do nothing of himself, but what he seeth the Father do. For what things soever he doeth, these also doeth the Son likewise." What could this mean other than that we, as individuals, are not separate from the original creative cause? That's a question mark, by the way. It is upon this premise, which seems rather abstract, but is simple enough if we do not become confused over the thought that it must be too profound. In other words, don't think too hard about it. That the science of mind is based. Okay. So let's not overthink it. Let us then state it in more simple terms. Really, Ernest? Okay. He's going to try and state it in more simple terms. So let's see if he succeeds. After this manner, we are centers or points in a cosmic universal consciousness, which is the origin of all things. On the scale of our individual lives, we reproduce the divine order in its entirety. This does not mean that we are God, but we find in Psalm 82:6, "I have said, ye are gods, and all of you are children of the Most High." The whole divine nature is reproduced in us, but we are ignorant of that fact. Our thought is creative, but in our ignorance we use it destructively. Okay. I actually heard a phrase on Thursday in a class, which is it's Dr. Tom Senar's his ideas about both Thomas Troward and Ernest. We are the essence of God, not the allness of God. And that one kind of shook me to my core. I was like, that's what, because we are the essence of God. We are made of the essence of God, but we're not all of God. I mean, that's why I like to call this divine sparks. And when I heard that, I was like, that is the phrase. We are the essence of God, not the allness, which takes out that ego part. Okay. All right. Back to Ernest. Because like I said, he's making me work for this one. Theology has called this the problem of evil. We call it a misuse of that which is good. We, as individuals, are centers of consciousness in a power infinitely greater than we are, but which is placed at our command by the very nature of things. From the consequence of our use of the power, we cannot hope to escape, because it is the very law of life itself. Let us restate our proposition. We are thinking centers in a cosmic mind. Our lives reproduce the original life. Everything that happens to us must start with the movement of intelligence within us, which is the movement of our word or contemplation or meditation within ourselves. So let us say of ourselves or to any individual, you are a center of intelligence. You did not make it this way. You cannot change it. All right. In other words, you have the power whether you want it or not, and whether you choose to use it constructively or destructively. Yep, okay. This is the way it is. You must accept it. You are using a creative law from which you cannot and do not wish to escape, because it contains the possibility of all freedom when you learn how to use it. To learn to think in the right manner is to learn to create that which is good and which gives complete expression to the self without ever containing anything destructive or negative. Whew. All right, Ernest. We got just under 2 pages left. The beginning of our individual word follows the same law, the same sequence, and the same order as that of the supreme mind, because it is in it and of it and like it. No matter what conditions may be around us, even though they appear to be negative and unhappy, they can be changed if we retrace our mental steps and start with the proposition that our word is also the law of our lives. Retrace our steps. Retrace our steps. Okay. Retrace our steps. In other words, where did our thinking go wrong? Where did our thinking go wrong? All right. Everything that follows the word is an effect of the consciousness that speaks it. Therefore, we start with the simple fact that we are consciousness speaking its word, thinking a thought, to which word or thought the law of mind reacts creatively. If we can get this simple proposition firmly fixed in mind, simply stated, and as simply believed in, we shall see that everything surrounding us is in the nature of an effect, and effects can be changed when we set new causes in motion. Which is, I guess, why he's saying retrace our steps. Because dealing with the effect is not going to get us anywhere. We've got to go back and find the cause. Like, we can fix the effects, but I mean, that's if you look at Western medicine is constantly chasing the symptoms, rarely getting to the root cause, which is why we don't get relief. But when we go after the root cause, then we can change the effects. We can change the symptoms. That makes sense. That makes sense. Okay. When we set new causes into motion. I'm simply, and that's the example I'm using simply because that's what I'm dealing with. I'm dealing with Western medicine. And like, at this point, I know the cause. I'm just not sure how to change it. So that's what I'm working on. It's like, all right, I'm dealing with an out of control immune system. How do I change it? Okay. Therefore, instead of being confused by the situation around us, we should be calm, tranquil, confident that the thought that through reforming our word and changing our whole body of thinking, we can as easily change the existing condition as perpetuate them. Did I just ask for an answer and get it? Okay. I asked a question, got an answer. And that is the power of this book. That is really cool. All right. Be calm and tranquil. I'm not good at that, but I'm working on it. This calls for a whole change of thinking. What we need is a complete assurance, an inner conviction, a faith, a confidence to know that we can proceed with definite, deliberate determination and that there can be no question about the results they will be inevitable. This was the consciousness that enabled Jesus to perform what to those around him seemed miraculous, or the intervention of a divine providence on his behalf. He was consciously and definitely using a power that he knew about, the very power of God itself. And now it is up to us to follow in his footsteps, for as the Bible states, if ye know these things, happy are ye if you do them. To know this principle and to understand the way it works is not enough. We must use it. And that's one of the things that Ernest talked about a lot late, especially later in his work. He says, look, we've talked the theory to death. Now we've got to go practice it. And I think that's one of the reasons why he decided to name the practitioners. You know, he could have called them anything else, but he chose the word practitioners because he wants practitioners to practice the theory that he's teaching us. All right. In actual practice, we must be quiet and calm within ourselves and begin to think new thoughts, even though they contradict everything that appears. For that which created can recreate. That which molded can remold. The principle we are using is not limited by anything that is happening, because all external things are in the nature of effect, while the principle itself is absolute creation, creating new effects whenever it receives new impulsion. This is what we mean by the law and the word, or the sequence of the creative order. We can initiate a new creative series by a definite and deliberate contemplation of our own minds. And out of the new thoughts will come new things, for the law is a reflector only. While it is intelligent and creative, its whole business is to receive the impulsion of the word that dominates it. This is an apparent paradox, but it is true. We shall discover that the very law that bound us will now free us. The power that seemed to stifle us will bring emancipation. The very power which appeared to produce evil will produce the opposite if, as, and when we change our thought patterns. The changing of these thought patterns is more than a thing of the intellect. It is also a thing of feeling, a deep inner conviction. We must feel that we are one with the eternal reality, and that our word is spoken in complete reliance on it, therefore it cannot fail. Gradually, as we reform our thoughts, they will become subjective. They will sink into that place in mind which is the power within us, and which must constitute the meeting place between the absolute cause and the relative effect, which it projects. It may take time to do this, but think of the reward, the gift, the outcome. Keep the goal in mind, refusing to be baffled or defeated. With uplifted thought and calm but definite purpose, we cannot fail. All right, Ernest. He made me work for that one. But, you know, it's kind of interesting that I ask a question and then the next sentence was the answer. Yep. And I do appreciate that because one of the things, one of the criticisms of science of mind, that it can be all up in the head. And you can see right here in this one that the feeling is just as important, if not more so, than the intellect. They're definitely partners. They definitely work together, and you can't have one without the other. Where your feeling is where your power is. And so it's very important to be aware of that. All right. Okay. I'm glad that I saved that one for today, where I had the time to actually dig into it and get the sense. I'm glad I didn't try and rush through it on Friday. All right. So tomorrow we will do what goes out must return. Today, I have an acupuncture appointment, so I got to go get ready for that. So now I'm going to encourage you to have a great day, a wondrous day, a fantastic day, a magical day, an enchanted day, a wonderful day, an awesome day, an amazing day. You got this day. Enjoy the rain day. Take care of yourself day. That's why I'm going to the acupuncture. Eat something amazing day, a cuddle your fur babies day, a dance in the rain day, because it has done nothing but rain for the last 10 days and is going to continue to rain for the next 10 days. Stay out of the thunder and lightning day, a drink plenty of water day, a stay out of the heat day, a take some time to enjoy whatever today, a good day. And if that is too much pressure, simply have a day. You are enough, just as you are. You are a beloved expression of the divine. You are a brilliant light, a divine spark, spirit in motion, God in action, a beautiful masterpiece and a work in progress at the same time, at your own pace. And as Reverend Jesse likes to call us, you are a godling. All right, beloveds. Take care of yourself. And I've already taken my glasses off, so hang on. I'm going to put them back on because I see Connie. Thank you, Connie. I appreciate it. Peace and love to you too. Get to know who the divine knows you to be, because the divine knows you to be good. It's all the divine knows. And from there, anything is possible. Anything is possible. All right. So Reverend David should be on around 5 p.m. with you. I'll be back with you around 9-ish tomorrow. Take care of yourself. Know that you are loved, and I will see you next time.